meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the special meeting is for the petition from the fire department for the permissive referendum to stop the abolishment of the Copenhagen Volunteer Fire Department. Candace, do you want to discuss?
Sure. So by law, the board or any individual taxpayer in the village has 5 days in order to file a letter with the village clerk to say that they oppose the petition for certain things that are wrong with it. So obviously tomorrow would be day 4 since it was submitted on Friday, but it does not say
Monday, you mean?
Or Monday, sorry. Tomorrow's Friday. But the law does not say business days, so it's a strict 5 days that you go from. So by tomorrow we would have to have a decision, at least from the board, on whether they're going to oppose the petition and ask for judicial intervention as to some of the issues with the petition that was submitted. So what I have prepared for the board for their consideration is all of the items that do not conform with the election law. So just to go down the list, duplicate signatures, there are 6. People who do not live in the village or are not on the voter registration list. 7, 8, 1, 2. We would then have 15 individuals, people who use their P.O. boxes instead of a physical residence as required by law. That brings us up to 17. Illegible signatures brings us up to 20. You cannot witness your own signature, that removes an individual. And then another individual removed their signature by affidavit. And then names that are used on the petition did not match the voter registration list. So either a nickname was used, and then addresses that were not complete would bring the total up to 36 signatures that would be asked to be stricken from the petition. Additional errors on the petition include no cover page being submitted with the petition. And that's election law section 6-134. Any petition of 10 or more pages is required to have a cover page. The wrong resolution number was used at the top of the petition. The village name was not identified at the top of the page of the petition. And the witness statement did not state that the witness was a registered voter. So I submit these errors for consideration to the board for discussion to proceed either to a vote or to seek court intervention. And I will say I did speak with the Board of Elections again today, just before I left my office. And any vote, if it was to proceed, if you wanted to proceed to be on a ballot, it would have to be a special election. The cost approximately, I was given, was around $2,500. They would not be able to get it on the ballot for November, despite what the law says. The law says that if we're able to have this matter voted on before November, I think Lori and I had seen that they should be able to have it on the ballot, but that's not the case. I verified today that we would be too late for that to occur. So you would have to have a special election specific as to this issue with a cost of, again, around $2,500.
Open it up for discussion.
Not sure what the, as far as all the legal stuff and everything that goes with it, but I really firmly believe that this is a decision that the village residents have a right to participate in. Whether it's a yes or a no, whether they agree with the board or not, I still feel it is something the village as a whole should make the decision on.
That's a lot of deficiencies.
At this time, does the board wish to open it up to the public that's here for anything? It's up to the board, because we have somebody that requests. Board good?
Sure. Let them speak.
Diane?
Can I just ask how many signatures were good? How many of those signatures were good? I know you said you had like 30 discrepancies.
There were 100 signatures that were submitted.
And how many are needed?
76.
76, correct.
76. So there's still enough signatures with the 30, with the signatures? No. Can it be rectified?
I don't believe so.
No. Once the petition is submitted, the only thing, and I'm waiting to hear back from New York State's counsel from the Board of Elections, is on the cover of the petition.
And I guess I want to say, along with Patty, if you have this many voters that would like to be able to be a part of that decision-making process, rather than leaving it up to the 5 board members, I think you should take that into consideration.
I will say right off the top, 15 of those signatures were people who either signed it twice or don't live in the village or are not registered voters. So if 85, would then be that number.
What's the potential number of voters?
379 as of the last election.
I think she's right. Even so,
Yeah.
that's a quarter.
Frank?
Well, it's not quite a quarter. 20% would be 76.
Does anybody have any idea how many people voted in the last election?
Usually about 100.
180 or so, I believe.
Yeah.
How many?
Yes.
100.
No, it wasn't
Well,
there?
maybe 200 up to 200?
No, I don't think, not in this last one.
100.
Oh, I'm taking.
Yeah, the last
130
one.
Last one, yeah, I
It was
don't.
130.
130 something. In ballpark,
Yeah.
I don't need 131,
They probably
just
have
130 some
Sure.
people.
Yeah.
Okay, out of the 130 some, I understand that there's, some discrepancies on these. Quite frankly, I signed the petition myself, and I didn't sign it because anti-board, anti-fire department. I signed it because this community and the people in the community are drastically against each other, period. And I firmly believe that the people in the community, the number in the community, if we have 100 signatures, out of which 85, say 85,
Are registered
are
village voters.
registered or whatever. 85 cities, you throw the other ones out. 85 out of 130, that's still a lot of people
Voters will come out.
that I believe the board or the fire department, you're never going to get together on things. It's not going to happen. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. You guys have got a board of directors, you're really strong about some things, you're really strong about some other things. I believe that it's the voters, the people in the community are the ones that should make the decision, and not the board or the fire department, either one. The people in the community should say, we're either going to do this one way or another. Let the people decide. Then, possibly the community can come together and say, okay, everyone has made a decision and not the people, not 5 board members and not the fire department. They haven't determined our future, we've determined our own future. Those are the voters. That's my position.
Thank you, sir. So my question would be at this point, which way we go tonight? Of course, if we go the opposite, try to reject this, what follows after this?
So after this, then we would have the court be involved. It's my understanding a referee would then be appointed. And then it's basically a hearing on the striking the signatures from the petition. And then if we strike enough that the petition falls under the 76 count, then it does not go to a vote.
And it can be stricken on any of these other things too, correct?
Correct. So everything I've included on that list is something that there's case law to back up those names being stricken.
And the same with the cover letter and,
Yes, yes. And I specifically included the section of the law for the cover letter on here in case anyone wanted to read it. And I did bring the backup research as well from other cases for the other items on here. Obviously the ones about duplicate signatures, not living here and not being on the voter list. You know, those are, I don't want to say no-brainers, but those make sense. But the ones for the residents, illegible signatures, nicknames, and incomplete addresses, I have all of the backup case law for that. A lot of it falls into one case in particular, it's Webster. Obviously, in all these cases are also from New York. And I know I had sent that one over earlier this week, but I did not tell Lori to print it, so please don't yell at her.
no, I actually found it, so. it was-
Okay,
yeah.
and then there's another one as well, which is, I would say Pia, it's 2 L's, could be Pilla. I guess you would not want to have that pronunciation. And that one has specific sites as to these items as well. And I can have Lori make copies of that for everyone so that they have it. And that, the pillow one, that's specific as to the required contents of the petition. So needing the cover page header to be correct, resolution number to be correct, what's needed in the witness statement. That's more in the second case.
Okay, so if we approve this, this is what goes to this is what you file?
That's what we would file with Lori.
Okay.
Is that the law directs that we file it with the clerk. And then from there, we would go to Supreme Court. And then the judge would, like I said, it's my understanding, appoint a referee. Which the time frame for that, the law does state that the court is to put this matter above all other matters, obviously because of the time sensitivity of it. But that doesn't mean that it can't take quite a long time.
Mark? I have asked you a question.
Yes, Dan.
Are all documents like that treated the same? I mean, is there supposed to be a cover letter like when you're running for the board also?
Yes, so when
Can we do that?
I actually, a couple of years ago, we actually had 13 pages, and I had to submit a cover letter with my petition,
Okay.
yes.
Now, what about signatures? Because some people just don't have a very good signature, so if you can't.
No,
read
it's not,
somebody-
it's not the signature that you can't read, it's their name.
Where they printed it.
Oh,
Where they allegedly
You
printed
write it
it.
and print it.
Okay.
Yep.
You don't take any like consideration for an elderly person that maybe, like, because I know if my dad were to print his name,
Mhm.
that you would not be able to, so their rights are null and void if they can't
No,
print their
the
name
person who
properly?
circulates the petition can actually do that, print their name for them. And then if a person can't sign, they can sign with an X. And that's why the witness statement is so important, because the person who circulates the petition signs saying that I saw all these people sign this petition. Yeah, so if they have a hard time writing, they can make an X. Mhm.
And actually, that's true for anything other than the signature and the date.
Yes. So anything can be filled in besides that signature.
So just so I understand, they're always this fussy over petitions?
Yes.
Okay. They all
Well,
go over them with a fine tooth comb?
I don't know what you mean by they.
Well,
the law.
whoever, like when you hand it into the election board or
They're
you hand
supposed
it
to,
into a
yes.
village, they go over every petition with a fine tooth comb like that?
Well, it would be the challenger,
Right.
right? So, usually you have two parties running in an election. The other party can challenge signatures to that petition to have someone put on the ballot.
Right.
But in this case, obviously, the challenger can be any taxpayer, including the board.
So you're saying that anyone that doesn't want this petition to go forward and doesn't want the village to have their vote, anyone that doesn't want this to happen can challenge,
Yes.
and then therefore
Yes.
that the petition is null and void.
Well, we're saying that it's null and void because of these things. Yes, any
Exactly.
taxpayer could come and say,
Exactly.
I want to look at the petition, and then say, I'm gonna file a written objection with you, Lori Wheeler, Copenhagen clerk, and this is why the petition fails. Yes, anyone can do
Anyone.
that.
So if you really wanted the village to have their say, then you wouldn't challenge this petition. Is that my understanding also?
Do you mean the board wouldn't challenge it?
Anyone, if anyone decided that, you know what, we really do want the villagers to have their say,
Mhm.
then you wouldn't challenge the petition, right?
Right, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I don't know what people think. Or they
Well,
can say
that would be it. Like if somebody.
We've elected these officials to challenge it.
Well, we didn't elect them to challenge it. They do have their own choice.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is if they feel that the village should have their say in this matter, then they won't challenge the petition, is my understanding.
Well, I mean, I can't say what people are thinking.
Right,
But,
right. But that, I guess that's the way I see it.
right,
If they-
well, I guess
if-
in the
if-
alternate, you can say, we didn't come in with almost 400 signatures to send it to a vote.
Mhm.
So the village has spoken by saying the people who didn't sign the petition don't agree with it.
Well, but most times you only have 100, maybe more, that come out to village elections to vote. So therefore, 80-something signatures is the majority of the voters that do come out to a village election.
But you don't know that these people vote in the elections.
That's a true statement, but but I would say that the majority of the people that do vote obviously want to have a say in what's happening.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So any other discussion on the board? So we need a motion of what we're gonna do with the petition.
I would just like to, just one last thing, it would be faster, because I have been given assurances that the vote would happen in November, and it would probably be cheaper to have a special election than to pay me to fight the petition. Just also, so you're aware.
Motion
Mark?
for
Mark,
Pat, you want-
motion for resolution to accept the petition.
I have a motion for resolution to accept the petition. Do I have a second? I have a motion for resolution to accept the petition. Do I have a second? One more time, I have a motion for resolution to accept this petition. Do I have a second? Motion, hold off on motion, then it dies. Board have any problem going out to public again?
I only have one question. You know, we have a number of voters, which that's what the percentage was on the number of registered voters. How do we know how many registered voters still live in the village? Meaning that the ones that are registered, if you have 300 registered voters and 20 of them have moved out, how many are showing up?
Well, that's up
They still would
to,
show the 300. They wouldn't show
correct. Oh, I
280.
agree.
You follow me?
Yep, so you can actually, as a citizen, you can have people's names be stricken from the rolls, but you have to file an affidavit stating that they no longer live here. So as long as you're willing to do that, you can have people's names removed.
So we don't know
that-
how many people
that don't
who
live here.
actually live here that are registered voters. Do we? We don't really
No.
know.
No.
That's my
Oh,
question
yeah,
that
no,
I have.
I don't know
So
what-
when we're dealing here with one or two people,
Yeah.
you know, that from a signature standpoint,
There was 10.
but that's based off a number that we're not certain of, meaning that we don't know how many are actually registered that still live in the village. You follow me?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's my only question. So I think that should be taken into account.
Lori, did you have something you wanted?
Well, I was gonna say the rules state that it's the voter registration list from the last election.
I know.
So that's why it
But
goes,
that's,
but I agree.
I understand
Yeah.
what the rule is, but that's not actual.
Right.
Accurate.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people that left.
Right.
And I know of a lot more that would like to, maybe, but that's what I know.
Jim?
That's pretty much what I was gonna say. The list that they had is showing you could get a person's signature, but when he gets here, you already know he moved out of town. So you're screwed, number one. It's on the signature which says it should be legal, but it isn't even a legal piece of paper, because it isn't true. So what do you go with?
Well, they have to put their residence on the petition. So they have to say they reside here. So if they sign the petition and they say they don't reside here, they're lying and they're subject to perjury under the law. So, I mean, there's that. But that's why you don't ask people that you know don't live here anymore to sign a petition. I mean, I would,
Understand.
right?
Mark?
Diane?
Just one question. Are you, did you state that it would cost more to hire you to fight the petition than it would to have a special election?
Yes.
So that
That's my
means-
understanding based on an estimate given to me by the Board of Elections. They gave an estimate of around $2,500 to do a special election.
So basically, if they do not decide to go with this petition, they're going to cost the village more money by fighting the petition than letting the villagers decide for themselves.
If you
That
wanna
they're gonna,
say it
Correct.
they're gonna
like that,
spend
yes.
more money to fight the petition. Okay, thank you.
Back to the board. Make a decision. Do you want to let it go?
Make a motion to reject the signatures of the petition.
Okay. I have a motion for resolution to reject this petition and have Candace follow up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion seconded by Kim.
Elections are coming up.
Any other discussion?
Yeah. You're right.
Hearing no other discussion. Go around. Sharif.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Carrie.
Yes.
Patty.
No.
Motion carried.
I would then ask the board to make a separate resolution then for me to be able to seek court intervention, so that all the proper paperwork can be signed, not only by me as attorney, but also by Mark as mayor, so that we can have the proper paperwork filed with the court.
So a motion for a resolution for Mark to sign papers, for Candace to file the motion, yeah, help me out here, Candace.
A petition.
Petition, yeah, to petition.
Okay. I got a motion for resolution.
Second.
I got a second by Sharif to have me sign the documents or anything, Candace, for rejecting this petition. Any other discussion? Going around. Sharif. Kim.
Yes.
Carrie. Patty.
No.
Motion carried. I believe that is it. Anything else you need, Candace?
No, I can get the case law out if anyone wants to take copies.
Okay. That being said, this is the only item on the agenda, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion from Kim, second from Sharif. Any other discussion going around? Sharif?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Carrie? Patty? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.